The feds done made a direct threat to Yungeen Ace for the murder of Foolio.
They know who they are. We're not going to tolerate any retribution, any revenge.
After Foolio was gunned down in Tampa, Florida, and his main op, Yungeen Ace, taking responsibility for the murder less than 24 hours later, the cops in Jacksonville have decided to put their foot down and crack down on the gangs.
You know, we're not going to allow you to just arbitrarily run around and spray bullets into people's houses and cars.
Is this Ace's end? Will he finally be arrested and sentenced for the bodies he has claimed? Let's find out. Yungeen Ace hunts down Foolio. June 24th, 2024, the day began with excitement and anticipation for Jacksonville rapper Foolio, born Charles Jones. Celebrating his 26th birthday, Foolio shared his gratitude on social media, posting, "God thank you for allowing me to see another year and to celebrate another birthday." Foolio took to Instagram, inviting friends and fans to join him for a pool party at an Airbnb in Tampa. The event was heavily promoted on social media, promising a night of fun and celebration.
Hey, the pool party start today at 5, 6 o'clock. If you already got the address, pull up, man. You got the address, pull up. If you need the address, DM me right now. The pool party start at 5, 6 o'clock.
The party kicked off with a bang. The atmosphere was electric, with music blaring, people dancing, and everyone in high spirits. Friends, fans, and fellow artists, all there surrounded Foolio to celebrate his special day. The rapper shared moments from the party on his Instagram story, showing off the lively crowd and the festive mood.
Got me drinking, cuz. I don't even drink, cuz. Appreciate everybody popping out for my birthday, you know what I'm saying?
Happy birthday!
Everybody got their shot, put their shots in the air, man. Okay, David. Everybody take their on 3, man. 1, 2, 3.
However, the party was abruptly interrupted when police arrived to shut it down. The group had exceeded the maximum occupancy allowed at the Airbnb, forcing them to leave. According to Foolio's attorney, Louis Fusco, the event became too rowdy, drawing the attention of the local police. Law enforcement arrived at the scene, and due to the excessive occupancy and noise complaints, they decided to shut down the party. Mr. Jones had been in Tampa to celebrate his birthday over the weekend, Foolio's lawyer told the press. Law enforcement reports indicate that he initially stayed at an Airbnb but was asked to leave due to exceeding occupancy limits. Foolio took to Instagram to express his frustration. He posted that the police had shut down the party and kicked him out of the Airbnb. "Police shut us down and kicked us out Airbnb. That's crazy work," he posted. Undeterred by the disruption, Foolio and his entourage, 20 deep as he described in a video, decided to continue the festivities elsewhere. They relocated to the Holiday Inn Tampa North on East Fowler Avenue, hoping to keep the birthday celebration alive.
We can't do it for my birthday, man. Everybody coming out the stairs. No cap, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We deep as hell. We deep as hell, 20 deep.
But as the night wore on, the celebration took a deadly turn. At around 4:40 a.m., gunfire erupted outside the hotel. 2 cars were shot at and 4 people were hit by the bullets. Among the victims was Foolio. The Tampa Police Department later confirmed that 1 person was killed and 3 others were injured in the shooting. This tragic event was not entirely unforeseen. In April, Foolio had posted on Instagram about multiple attempts on his life and losing friends to jail and graveyards. "These last couple months and years of my life been tragic. God been trying to send me a message. Multiple attempts on my life, I keep surviving. I keep losing my brothers to jail and graveyards, but I know the Most High doing everything for a reason. He let me walk again for a reason." Apart from that, his fans urged him not to have the party when he first posted about it days earlier. On June 14th, the rapper took to Instagram where he posted a flyer announcing that he would be hosting his birthday in Tampa and even gave away the time. Right away, his fans let him know that it was a bad idea. "If you plan on going, wear a bulletproof vest and bring a switch," commented one fan, while another one said, "Why are you doing this birthday bash? Please cancel." Law enforcement officials have immediately launched an investigation into the ambush. Surveillance footage from the Holiday Inn is being reviewed, but as of now, no suspects have been arrested. Despite the cops not identifying Foolio's killers, it is an open secret in Jacksonville. Everyone knows who is behind the hit, and just one day after the murder, they released a music video snitching on themselves. Foolio's main op, Yungeen Ace, released a music video for the track Do It, where he raps, "I don't even call him by his name, I call them Lil Do It's. Let's do it. Call his phone, say they got the low, I told them do it." This isn't the first time Yungeen Ace has tried to slide on Foolio. On October 6, 2023, Foolio found himself in a shootout that almost claimed his life. On that fateful night in his hometown of Jacksonville, Foolio was driving his black Dodge Challenger, which he was later killed in this year. As Foolio drove through the 3100 block on 18th Street W, a residential neighborhood less than a mile away from the Paxson School for Advanced Studies, the peace of the night was shattered shattered by the sound of gunfire. According to various law enforcement sources, suspects opened fire on Foolio's vehicle, riddling it with bullet holes. The attack was swift and brutal, leaving Foolio with a gunshot wound to his foot and was quickly transported to UF Health Jacksonville for treatment. The next day, an Instagram story post appeared, seemingly from one of his parents. The message read, "Keep Foolio, my son, in y'all prayers. He was shot last night in his hating city. 2 years earlier, he was in a similar situation." On November 8, 2021, Foolio was at a house on Ernest Street recording music with several others. The house, which had already been the subject of numerous complaints from neighbors about suspicious activity, became the center of a violent confrontation. Foolio told police he heard gunshots when he walked outside, and the shooters were in a dark-colored truck or SUV. Foolio, armed with 2 guns, returned fire in what he claims was self-defense.
I shot back in self-defense. Y'all dumb. I shot back in self-defense. You don't think if I did something illegal, I would be in jail? The police put me in the back of the car.
Foolio was grazed by a bullet but refused to go to the hospital. Instead, he was seen being escorted to a car, limping from his injury. And in 2020, he was involved in yet another shooting, which saw him go to the hospital where he recorded a video dissing his ops.
Shot me, but didn't kill me. On Kendrick. Just stupid.
For years, Foolio and Yungeen Ace have been the faces of a violent gang war that has engulfed Jacksonville, Florida. They are part of the infamous ATK versus KTA gang war in the city, which has claimed countless lives. These 2 gangs are the most dangerous gangs in the city, and now Foolio has become a victim of the gang war that he has helped fuel. So why did these gangs start beefing? Deadly beef. Before the streets of Jacksonville echoed with the notoriety of the ATK gang, there was the Ying gang. It was within this environment that a young rapper, Yungeen Ace, began to make a name for himself, not just with his music, but as a figure of emerging influence in the gang landscape. With a microphone in one hand and the reins of leadership in the other, Ace's ascent in the rap industry paralleled his climb within the gang hierarchy. His lyrics, a raw reflection of life on the streets, became anthems that resonated with the youth, earning him not just fans, but also loyalty among the ranks. As Yungeen Ace's influence grew, his interactions with the gangs on the east side of Jacksonville intensified. It was a time of strategic alliances and shrewd negotiations. Ace, with his charisma and street credibility, bridged the divide between the west and east, weaving a network of loyalty and control that spanned the entire city. The ATK gang, which stands for Ace Top Killers, became a force that commanded attention and respect. As the ATK gang solidified its grip on Jacksonville, a rival entity was rising in the shadows. The KTA gang, an acronym that sent shivers down the spine of the city with its chilling implication, "Kill Them All," was on the rise. The genesis of KTA was rooted in the remnants of the notorious PCE gang, which had once sown chaos across the city. The PCE had been crippled by the law, with its top 10 members falling into the hands of justice, charged with murder and firearm offenses. This left a void that was quickly filled by those who remained, hungry for leadership and direction. Enter Charles Jones, or as the streets knew him, Foolio. His life was a chronicle of the violence that plagued the city, having witnessed the loss of numerous friends to the endless cycle of gun violence. These experiences didn't just shape Foolio, they hardened him, creating a leader both feared and respected. With the remnants of PCE rallying behind him, Foolio orchestrated a takeover of the North and South territories, asserting control with a mix of strategic alliances and sheer force. KTA's influence grew, and with it, a new power dynamic took shape. The city was now a chessboard, with ATK and KTA as its principal players, each commanding their halves with an iron fist. The emergence of KTA under Foolio's command set the stage for an inevitable confrontation. The city was now divided, with ATK holding the east and west, and KTA claiming the north and south. Tension simmered as both gangs fortified their positions, and the streets of Jacksonville became the backdrop for a burgeoning war. The primary reason for the ATK versus KTA feud was likely an instance of disrespect between the 2 gangs dating back years. The incident occurred during a rap concert in November 2015, where members from both gangs were present. Despite the tension between the groups, they attempted to form a truce by shaking hands. However, one member refused, leading to a fistfight and ultimately a series of retaliatory shootings. And that's when the first publicized murder took place, the murder of Zion Brown. Zion Brown was active in the streets and was rapper Foolio's blood cousin. Their ops decided to take things too far and attacked Brown's home. It was around 1:30 in the morning when the family's backsliding door was broken by a brick. Inside the house, Brown's 16-year-old sister was jolted awake by the noise. She did what any frightened person would do in such dire circumstances. She called 911, desperate for help, but before the reassuring presence of law enforcement could arrive, the situation escalated. A figure emerged from the darkness, stepping through the remnants of the glass door. The gunman, time, with calculated coldness, made his way into the kitchen and then into the living room. The space, which had been filled with the soft breathing of sleeping children, was now a stage for a horrific act. The teenage girl, along with her 9-year-old cousin and her brother Zion Brown, gathered in the living room, their hearts pounding with fear. The gunman looked upon the innocent faces of the children and felt no remorse. His finger tightened around the trigger and a series of shots rang out, each one a piercing echo of terror. The 16-year-old girl tried to take cover behind a couch, but the bullets found her, striking both of her legs. Her young cousin was hit in the neck and right arm, the pain unimaginable for someone so young, and Zion Brown was fatally wounded. As the gunman's weapon clicked empty, he turned and walked out the same way he came in, leaving behind a scene of devastation. As the community of Jacksonville's Cedar Hills Estates awoke to the aftermath of the tragedy, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office was already deep into the investigation of the triple shooting that had claimed the life of Zion Brown and injured 2 young girls. The detectives were determined to piece together the events that led to the senseless violence and to bring the perpetrator to justice. The investigation took a significant turn when the wounded 16-year-old girl, still grappling with the trauma and the bullets lodged in her body, provided a crucial piece of information. She knew the shooter, not just a face in the crowd, but someone she recognized as a Facebook friend and the boyfriend of one of her friends. This revelation steered the detectives in a new direction, and the name DeAndre Thomas emerged as the prime suspect, a man with close ties to Foolio's main op, Yungeen Ace. DeAndre Thomas, a 19-year-old student from Orange Park High School, was no stranger to the law. His past was filled with a series of arrests in Clay County, including drug possession and a string of burglaries, one of which involved the theft of a firearm. A fact, DeAndre and Yungeen Ace were both implicated in that robbery 7 months before Brown's murder, where the two conspired to rob someone who was reportedly selling weed. Shots were fired into that home, nearly missing a couple and a 1-year-old child. After his arrest, Ace pleaded no contest. This connection between Zion Brown's killer and Yungeen Ace intensified the rivalry and took it to new heights. The police, armed with this information, launched a manhunt for Thomas. Then the next evening, around 8:30 near Butler Boulevard and Belfort Road, the search came to an end. DeAndre Thomas was arrested. He was charged with 1 count of murder for the death of Zion Brown and 2 counts of attempted murder for the injuries inflicted upon the 2 girls. However, the story didn't end with Foolio's affiliate's death, as Zion Brown's family were forced to move out of the house for fear of retaliation after Brown's sister snitched. All this happened in 2017, and over the next few months, Foolio and KTA were silently planning their biggest score, and this time they wanted the top dog, Yungeen Ace. Murder in Jacksonville. In June 2018, Foolio and his gang struck. Just 3 days before the deadly shooting, Ace took to social media to post this photo with an ominous caption. Little did he know that only a few days later, he would be fighting for his life while his closest friends and brother would lose theirs. June 5th marked the birthday of his younger brother, Trevon Bullard, and the night was meant to be a joyous gathering. Alongside them were close friends Royale Devon Smith Jr. and Jacoby Deshad Groover, both of whom shared their enthusiasm for the night ahead. The group chose a local favorite spot for the birthday dinner, a place where laughter and music filled the air, and the worries of the outside world seemed to melt away. As the evening progressed, the tight-knit group enjoyed the camaraderie and the celebration of life. Little did they know that the night would take an unimaginable turn. After the dinner, the 4 young men left the venue, their spirits high and their hearts full of the evening's festivities. They settled into their Chevrolet, ready to continue their night elsewhere. But as they pulled away, the unexpected horror unfolded in mere moments. A car, nondescript and seemingly out of nowhere, approached their vehicle. Without warning or provocation, the night air was pierced by the sound of gunfire. The Chevrolet, once a vessel of celebration, became a target as it was showered with bullets in a relentless attack. Yungeen Ace, amidst the chaos, made a split-second decision fueled by instinct and brotherly love. He leaned over in a desperate attempt to shield his friend in the driver's seat, risking his own life in the process. Tragically, his efforts were in vain, and the driver, along with 2 other passengers, succumbed to their injuries. The hospital became Ace's new battleground, where he fought not just for recovery, but for dignity. In a shocking turn of events, he was expelled from the medical facility, his lack of insurance deemed more significant than his critical injuries. Meanwhile, Ace's legal troubles compounded when it was discovered that earlier on the day of the shooting, the group had visited a gun shop on University Boulevard. Video evidence from the store led to Ace being charged with a probation violation for firearm involvement. Facing the aftermath of the shooting and the legal repercussions of his actions, Ace surrendered to authorities. He was charged with violating his probation from a 2017 accessory conviction related to an attempted attempted robbery. His probation terms explicitly prohibited him from firearm possession, and the video of Bullard handling a gun was sufficient for the judge to deny bail. Adding to his torment, Ace was also denied the opportunity to attend his brother's funeral, a heart-wrenching denial of closure. Yungeen Ace and his KTA gang would soon have their revenge, and it came in the form of Foolio's little brother. 16-year-old Adrian Gaynor Jr., alias Bibby, a student at Grand Park High School, met his death in an incident that shocked the city. The sudden and violent loss of this young life, cut short in the parking lot of his friend's residence, sparked an outcry for justice. The death hurt Foolio so much that he released a song in his honor. On February 25, 2019, at the Hilltop Village Apartments parking lot on West 45th Street, Bibby was found lifeless, the victim of multiple gunshot wounds. The area around the gazebo, where he had been spending time, was littered with dozens of shell casings from a rifle, tracing the path of his desperate attempt to escape his assailant. Witnesses reported the teenager being chased down. They saw Bibby fall and was struck by bullets as he tried to shield his head with his hands in a futile effort to protect himself. According to the arrest warrant, it was Hakeem Robinson, alias Queso, an ATK affiliate, who in a cold-blooded act approached Bibby and shot him at close range in the back of the head, even as the young teen continued to try to defend himself. The arrest warrant also revealed that Queso had taken to social media after Bibby's death, posting several photos and videos where he appeared to be bragging about Bibby's murder. This brazen display of disregard for human life added another layer of horror to the case and further inflamed the community's grief and anger. And it seems Queso and his gang did more than brag about their hit on Bibby. As it turns out, they went as far as to disrespect his grave and dissed his relatives every chance they got.
They tore up his grave, they spit on his grave, they urinated on his grave, they made fun of our rallies or whatever, they made fun of us marching, they mocked us every chance that they got.
Foolio had his revenge the very next month with the brutal murder of Corbin Odell Johnson. On July 11, 2019, the vibrant 18-year-old FaceTimed his friends at 4 in the afternoon. Little did they know this would be the last time they would see Corbin alive. Corbin had told his friends he was at Amazon for a job interview and was awaiting a ride. His father, Corey Mormon, recounted dropping his son off for another job interview with UPS at 5 in the afternoon, only to pick him up 45 minutes later. He later drove Corbin to his mother's residence on Biscayne Bay Circle at 8 in the evening. His mother, Melissa Mormon Jackson, would later report that the last time she saw her son was at 9:30 that night. The clock ticked on, and the following morning at 8:45, Corey sent a text message to his son, which would go unanswered, setting off alarm bells in his father's heart. By 6:30 in the evening on July 13th, the family's concern had escalated to action, and they officially reported Corbin missing. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office began their investigation, but never made any progress. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months into a year of agonizing uncertainty. As the first anniversary of Corbin's disappearance approached, the family planned a memorial at Riverside's Memorial Park. But fate had written a different ending to Corbin's story. On the evening of July 11th, 2019, a man clearing land off Utsey Road made a shocking discovery. Corbin's skeleton was found, wrapped and buried, bringing a tragic end to the search. KTA's head, Honcho Foolio, was all up on Instagram making fun of Corbin after the discovery was made.
And Corbin, they let Corbin get kidnapped, man. Crazy, man. The Corbin. Got this stupid kidnapped. They found a bones. Kidnapped like a little baby, like a little boy.
Despite Foolio's bravado, he has lost many close friends in the war, including his fellow rapper, Rico Osama, who was killed on the 12th of December, 2023. On a day that began like any other, the west side of Jacksonville became the scene of a triple shooting, an event that claimed lives and left the city in mourning. Among the victims was a name well known in the local rap scene, Rico Osama. It was in the late afternoon when the sound of gunfire shattered the usual hum of activity along San Juan Avenue and James Road. Rico Osama, whose real name was Julian House, was just beginning to make waves in the music industry as an affiliate of the well-known rapper Julio Foolio, but found himself at the center of a violent altercation. Witnesses described the chaos that ensued as approximately 30 gunshots rang out, echoing off the storefronts and sending bystanders into a state of panic.
In the video, you see a customer leaving a store before hearing multiple shots.
The rapid succession of shots was so intense that it drew the immediate attention of an off-duty officer in the vicinity, who promptly alerted the Jacksonville Sheriff's sheriff's office to the unfolding crisis. The officers responded with urgency, rushing to the scene at 6300 San Juan Avenue, where they were met with a sight of devastation. There, they discovered 3 adult males, victims of the shooting, their bodies bearing the brutal marks of the attack. The parking lot of the business plaza was littered with shell casings. The air was thick with tension and fear as the reality of what had occurred began to sink in. One business owner, whose establishment faced the brunt of the violence, recounted the terror of the moment. He spoke of how at least one bullet had pierced through the walls of his business, striking a refrigerator and leaving a chilling reminder of the narrow escape from what could have been an even greater loss. The plaza building itself and several parked cars were riddled with bullet holes, a silent witness to the ferocity of the attack. One individual had been killed, and 2 others sustained injuries severe enough to require immediate medical attention. One of the victims dropped to the sidewalk before crawling into the store. Luckily, EMS arrived in time to save his life. The victims were swiftly transported to the hospital. Unfortunately, no one was ever arrested for the murder. Sadly, pictures on his personal Facebook page show him with his newborn child, born the same month he was gunned down. Will Yungeen Ace get arrested for all these murders? Only time will tell. If you enjoyed this video, click on the boxes playing on your screen to watch similar content.